There is one thing that's actually better than creating content, especially if you have a small business and you're just now starting to grow it. If you're that early, there is one very specific thing that can be much better than trying to build a business through your content. Hi, I'm Jordan Parker. I help creators build an algorithm-free business. A business that, even if you got zero reach, will still function and still grow and still make you a lot of money. Today we're going to talk about the early stages. How do you start a business? What most people nowadays gravitate towards is content, obviously, because content is free, content is very accessible, content is fun to make, you get likes, you get shares, you get a bunch of people excited about what you have to say. Content is pretty damn cool. And I can tell you from looking at dozens and dozens of businesses who are right now scaling, content can be tremendously useful and is tremendously useful for you scaling your business. At a certain point, you will need content. That's not even optional. But is content how you start a business? Is it a reliable way of starting a business, or is there something else, something better? And obviously, because I'm making this video, there is something better. You see, there are different types of markets. For example, when you're on social media, you're in the market of entertainment. Basically, it is about supply and demand in different types of entertainment. Some people might entertain themselves by having fun, watching comedy. Other people might entertain themselves by watching somebody on a boat. Doesn't matter. The whole point is you're in the supply and demand for entertainment, and what you have to do is you have to find a way to stand out in this sea of entertainment. This is absolutely gorgeous if you are in the entertainment niche, but if you are running any other kind of business, which is most businesses, you're out of luck. You can't really promote effectively on social media, and you will face a very big uphill battle for you to get any sort of reach, any sort of attention, and any part of the pie, so to speak. You probably already felt that when you sit down, you publish a post, you get the same couple of people every single time commenting, but in general, you don't see growth, you don't see results. Very often you see the opposite. You see fewer results, you see fewer impressions, or best case scenario, your account is stagnating. And you are basically put in a position in which you are either entertaining people or teaching people how to do the social network your own thing. So if you're on YouTube, teaching people how to do YouTube, which is something that you see a lot of people do. And there is nothing wrong with that, but maybe you don't want to teach people how to use the platform better because you don't care. And maybe you don't want to play the entertainment game because you're there to help people. You're there to solve actual problems. This is where the solution comes in. You need a platform that gives you demand and supply for a problem, not for attention. You need to be competing on if you can solve the problem better than other people and not on whether or not you're more entertaining than other people. This is a much faster and way more reliable way for you to start a business because you're not just talking to people who are there to have fun and then you try to convince them that they need to actually invest in themselves and pay you money for whatever. You're actually directly speaking to people who have a problem. You're the person who can solve that problem, and the only choice they have to make is not whether or not they should solve it, but whether or not they should solve it with you. That eliminates 90% of the work you have to do. That makes things so much easier. And don't worry, I'll give you examples for such platforms so you have an idea of how this functions. The important thing you need to understand is the audience that you're talking to matters. On social media, you can target people. If you talk about specific problems, that is immensely helpful and you'll get far better results. If you are sniper targeting problems and not just speaking about random crap that's popular, that helps immensely. And then, of course, talking to people, sending messages and all that, that can work. But if you want to make things significantly faster, you can force the situation to work in your favor. And you do that by hopping on a platform like the three that I'm going to give you. So the first option is actually what pretty much any freelancer does. When you go to websites like Fiverr, Upwork, whatever, it doesn't matter. You have people who have projects, who have work, and they're looking for somebody to help them do that work. Now, those platforms are not always giving you the exact type of business that you want, but for the early stages, they're actually perfect because you can get your first 5, 10, 20 clients, get a bunch of proof that you can do whatever you say you're doing, and then use that reputation on social media, use that reputation to build a YouTube channel, use that reputation to get your next clients. And when you have reputation, when you can say, like I can, for example, I'm working with Kieran Drew, one of the biggest guys on Twitter, then this creates a lot more trust in your work. And when you can do that, it's not bragging, it simply explains to people why you're not a random person on the internet like 99% of everyone else. And that makes you special, and they actually consider you and they actually think about working with you, which 100x is the chances of you actually getting business. So those platforms are absolutely amazing. Don't be swayed by the fact that they're not the most fun places to hang around in. They're significantly faster than you just browsing around on social media and waiting for some work to fall in your lap. Before we get to the other two options, and the last one is my favorite, I want to take a second and invite you to Creator Income. Creator Income is the newsletter and soon community in which I share everything I learn from working with creators, helping them make more money and helping them be absolutely independent of the algorithm. If you want access to all of the insights, because not all of them make it to YouTube, you should join from the link below. So option number 2 is cold outreach. For cold outreach, you have two options. You can do cold outreach over email or you can do cold outreach over social media. Both of them have their pros and cons. If you're doing cold outreach over social media, I highly recommend you do this on one of the platforms in which it is difficult. Because, for example, doing this on X is exceptionally easy and no one likes cold messages on X because there's so many of them. Anyone can pay $100 on X and be sending thousands of cold messages on X, so they work significantly less. But if you send cold messages on Instagram or LinkedIn, I like LinkedIn the most, to be honest, but it is kind of tricky. You can have significantly better results. And of course, cold email is always going to be one of the best ways you can find new people, but it requires a good dose of practice because you will have a hard time getting anyone to trust you over a cold email because people receive a bunch of email and most of their emails are kind of bad. So you would actually have to learn how to communicate with people properly and how to target them, because if you just spam everyone without any sort of targeting, you will not get good results. You'd have to send thousands and thousands and thousands of emails to get a single person that's mildly interested, and that's not a fun thing to do. But as a medium, cold email can be incredibly reliable because once you build your systems, you will know how many people exactly you need to contact, which means how many leads you need to get how many clients. And once you have that equation, running your business becomes significantly easier and you know exactly what to expect, and the early stages become so much better and so much nicer. Finally, the third option. This is actually my favorite option because most people who want to start a business, and this would be perfect if you haven't started yet, are currently working something, or if they just started, they have a bunch of cash that's laying around. My suggestion is usually combined with the first option, so find a bunch of extra work from a freelance website. But my suggestion is start running ads, learn advertising. Advertising is expensive. I will be very clear with you. This is the most expensive option. When it comes to sending cold DMs on social media, you're looking at $100 to $100 a month. Cold email can be a little bit more, but $300 and you're good usually. And ads can get very pricey, but ads are absolutely fucking magical because Facebook's algorithm, Meta's algorithm for ads, is absolutely insane. It will find potential buyers for anything. Like, you don't even have to be good at advertising and it will find you buyers. If you're very bad at advertising, if your website is horrible, if everything you're doing is an absolute mess, but you're solving a very painful problem, you still get business. The only way you will fail with ads is if you haven't picked the problem that you're solving correctly. For this, I start with who. This is my way of solving this problem, and this is necessary no matter how you're scaling your business. And this is something you need to do before you start running a business. For this, I have a video on my channel. Go find it, watch it, it's amazing. But if you nail the problem correctly, ads can be an absolute gem, because with ads you have two main options. You can do Google ads, and Google ads are amazing because you're looking for people who are searching for something. And by the way, Google ads means on Google and on YouTube. You can do either. And when you get people looking for something, you can look for people who are looking for a solution to their problem. And if you're delivering that solution, that makes a very nice combo because you can pay $5, $10, even $20 for one person to go in and talk to you. But then on the fifth person you actually sell, cover all of your ads, and then you have a bunch of extra money left over to run more ads, get the next customer, and a little bit of profit. And you can do this and repeat this until you're making hundreds of thousands of bucks every month. It doesn't matter. And on Meta, it's the same thing, but you're not even looking for people searching for something. Meta knows us better than we know ourselves. They're working with so much data that they can help you sell absolutely anything. So if you have a bit of spare cash, start investing in ads. Start investing a little bit of money. You can start with $5 a day. You don't need to go crazy day one, and it's probably going to be a horrible idea, but you can start with $5 a day and start learning the whole thing. Just be conscious. If you want to test an ad, you don't want to test an ad that sells something for $1,000 with $5. That will never work. If you're selling something expensive, then you need to dedicate as much money as the thing that you're selling to testing the ad. So if you're selling something that's $500, prepare to spend $500 or up to $500 for you to get your first customer. You need to spend a reasonable amount of money compared to what what you're charging for the ad to have any chance of working. Don't worry if it takes a little bit more cash, and don't freak out if this is more expensive than you want it to be. You need practice. Ads and cold email and even being on a freelance website, they all require practice. You will need to do this for a little bit for you to actually nail this. That's why I think ads are the best option, but you probably want to keep your day job until you're running the ads, so you can cover your ad costs, have a bit of security from the day job, and then when the business takes over, then you can just forget about the day job, do the I quit thing, and then go work on your own business like a boss. So yeah, I hope that helps. Cheers.